بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عالم الغيب والشهادة الكبير المتعال، سواء منكم من أسر القول ومن جهر به، ومن هو مستخف بالليل وسارب بالنهار، له معقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله. إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم، وإذا أراد الله بقوم سوءا فلا مرد له، وما لهم من دونه من وال. هو الذي يريكم البرق خوفا وطمعا وينشئ السحاب الثقال، ويسبح الرعد بحمده والملائكة من خيفته، ويرسل الصواعق فيصيب بها من يشاء وهم يجادلون في الله وهو شديد المحال. له دعوة الحق، والذين يدعون من دونه لا يستجيبون لهم بشيء إلا كباسط كفيه إلى الماء ليبلغ فاه وما هو ببالغه، وما دعاء الكافرين إلا في ضلال.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. JazakumAllah Khair for attending. We're very happy to have you, and inshallah we look forward to putting on many more events like this of inshallah a high quality with special guests and important information. Inshallah I'll be introducing the one who will be giving us a short khatira inshallah, which is Sheikh Hussam Madi. I don't remember the whole intro that he gave me to say because my phone is recording right now, so I can't use it. I didn't think of that in advance. But I remember one thing, wallahi, I remember one thing that stood out to me in his intro, which is that he said he's the father of 2 kings and 3 queens. And I'll say that part because I remember it very, very vividly. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, why not? Unless we're all family here. I mean, it's okay. Okay. Yallah, bismillah. Let's read it for real now. Hussam Madi is a Muslim, passionate, realistic human being. Hussam has a beautiful family and is married to Mrs. Lana Madi with 5 beautiful children, 2 kings and 3 queens, and they are the main inspiration in his life. Hussam Madi is a WSU graduate, double major in computer science and mechanical engineering, and he's in the process of obtaining his master's degree in Islamic studies and in the memorization of the Quran. Hussam Madi played professional soccer in Wichita for 2 years and semi-professional for 9 years, and he serves humanity around the US and abroad. He's an entrepreneur and he runs his company here in Wichita, Kansas. I welcome to the stage Sheikh Hussam Madi.
JazakumAllah Khair. Thank you all for coming. I'm not going to take much time, inshallah, because the main event is the one that needs to be paid attention to. And I just want to say, I said it to the brothers that took on to put this event. People pay money to attend seminars to what you're fixing to hear. They pay real good money to listen to stuff like what Dr. Baha is going to fix to introduce to you, which is seminars. You probably heard me say from the khutbah that people, they hold on these seminars to make you feel good about yourself. But I'm here just to tell you just a couple of things. First of all, Islam promotes goodness and excellence in your life. That we're asked to do that. Promoted first by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then also by the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And our son Mu'adh just recited for you. He didn't give the English translation or alliteration of it, but it says that people don't change. Allah will not help anybody change except that if they initiates the change themselves. And here Allah is talking about the change to the better, to be good, to be excellent in life. Listen to what the Prophet ﷺ said. And this is not at the end of your life, like somebody going to die, and we ask Allah give you the best of health and wealth and length in life with barakah and iman. But he said, إِذَا قَامَتِ الْقِيَامَةِ, the end of everyone's life. The end of everyone's life. وَبِيَدِ أَحَدِكُمْ فَسِيلًا. So if the day of judgment, that means humanity is done. That means we're just going to wait and see what we've done and we're going back to Allah. He said, if that happens, and one of you is sitting, and you have a fasila, the fasila is a ghars of the small palm tree, the smallest plant. He said, فَلْيَغْرِسْهَا. Just think about that for a moment. That means the sky is being open, sun and stars are falling on the ground, rivers are flowing all over, fires are all over, and he's telling you to go ahead and put. That means you need to strive for excellence. Of course, when the day of judgment is going to happen, that fasila, what's that going to do? What's that going to do? It's not going to grow anymore. We're done. But the issue is, the essence here is for you to continue to strive. It doesn't matter who you are. You're a mother, you're a sister, you're a college student, you're someone in high school, you're someone growing up, a father, a mother. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what your role is. Your role is in Islam promotes excellence. Excellence, ihsan, not only good, not subpar, but it promotes excellence. Whoever is a Muslim has the possibility of becoming a leader. You are promoted to be a leader. We're not passive. We're not supposed to be passive. By no means. We're supposed to be some people that have our thumb and handprints on life. Period. That's it. So Allah has all over. وَأَنَّ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. Sa'a, not sitting down, but striving. On the day of judgment, you are going to be asked about striving. Now, well, striving, okay, for what? You're not going to be asked about you are black in color, you're from Pakistan or Palestine, you are short, you are tall, you are white. No question at all. That's not the question. On the day of judgment, Allah is asking about your choice. That's it. There's people that are handicapped. They're going to be about their choices. There are people that don't have legs. They're going to be asked about their choices. Choices. A choice. As long as Allah, you have this logic here, you're going to be asked about a choice. So just rest assured, Islam promotes excellence, even in our deen, even in your daily life, even in your work. You're not passive. You're an individual that has to be promoting goodness all the time for yourself, for mankind, for humanity. Even the question about the famous hadith, you all know it as Muslims, that somebody came to the Prophet ﷺ, said, Mal Islam. What is Islam, Prophet of Allah? And he told him the 5 pillars that you all know: Shahada, Salah, Siyam, Zakah, Hajj. He said, okay, what is Iman? He said, you believe in the unseen, believe in Allah, believe in the angels, believe in the prophets, believe in the books, believe in fate and destiny, it's good and it's bad, and believe in the day of judgment. Okay, what is excellence? He said, you worship Allah. So he took all the stages of this complete, comprehensive deen from being passive. By the way, the first thing, your salat and everything, that's at a stage for your own self. That's passive. That's passive. And then he took it up a notch into Iman. And finally, excellence is what you need to be striving. Sa'i. He said, تعبد الله كأنك تراه. فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. You worship Allah as you know that He's looking at you, seeing you. So if each and every one of us knows that Allah is looking at us, how is your salah? If you're assured. Then if you don't see that Allah is looking at you, just know, if you need to know that you are worshiping Allah as you see Him. If you don't see Him, just know that He sees you. Finally, and Dr. Baha will elaborate a lot on this. And this is what I think he can actually, maybe you can take this title for your next talks. Be a player. Don't be a referee. What does a player do? So he told you I played soccer. What does a soccer player do? What do? Score goals. They score goals. What does a referee do? Looks for mistakes, looks for fouls, looks for faults, even small or little. So you in your life, you need to be a player, not a referee. Don't worry about people's mistakes. Worry about your own in your backhand, and you be a player. You score goals. JazakumAllah Khair for listening. That's all I have for you. And then the main one speaker is coming up to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah Khair, Sheikh Hassan. If you guys can help me to welcome Dr. Baha Abu Esheh. I'll give you a quick introduction. Dr. Baha Abu Esheh is a neurologist, entrepreneur, and community leader based in Oklahoma. He's the founder and president of Neurology Care and one of the region's leading neurology groups, the co-founder of InvestStream and a commercial real estate investment firm in Houston. Dr. Abu Esheh also serves as the president of Southern Oklahoma Physicians Association and the medical director of Sleep Lab. He previously served as chief of staff at Mercy Hospital in Ardmore. Beyond medicine, he is an active entrepreneur and investor, involved in ventures ranging from healthcare and real estate to automotive, dining, medical devices, and AI platforms. Dr. Abu Esheh is committed to service and has taken part in humanitarian medical missions to Gaza and Greece, providing care to communities in crisis. He is also a motivational speaker known for powerful talks on leadership, discipline, and personal growth. His daily 5 a.m. fitness routine and message, Rise and Shine at 5 a.m., the only time where sweating before sunrise is a good thing, reflects his belief in discipline and self-mastery. Please help me to welcome Dr. Baha Abu Esheh.
I know what you're thinking. So I know what you're thinking. He's probably nervous, anxious, forgot what to say. But I just did a psychological experiment about the power of silence. I know some of you started checking their pulse. Wichita. So Wichita has a special place in my heart. I always feel I belong here for the last 25 years. Wichita gave me the best thing in my life. Gave me my wife. So she fixed a lot of bad traits in me. She humbled me, got the best out of me. And there are some more things she's still working on it. I don't know if she will succeed with, but we'll see. So if this talk goes good, please clap for her. If it goes bad, still also clap for her, because my safety depends on it. So, are you ready, Wichita?
Yeah.
That's ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
Lights, drop. So this is my message to you today. Rise and shine. Go through the struggles in life. The end result is to rise and shine. So who has kids? You know what we talk about, rise and shine, right? But today, it's the adult version. Who believes in positive thinking? That's cute. So you go in the backyard and you look at the weed and you say, there is no weed, and it goes away. Right? Or you go at the edge of the cliff, I can fly. You'll die with a smile. So I'm not here to talk to you about positive thinking. So what controls the quality of your life? Is it money? Can we have a lot of money and we still have a miserable life? Is it relationship? Can you be in a good relationship with your spouse but still have a miserable life? So what controls the quality of your life is meaning and emotion. The meaning you give to things control the emotions that you feel. People come up with different meanings which produce different emotions. For example, on the way here, somebody cut you off. You get pissed. You start coming next to him. You start cussing at him, he starts cussing at you, and you get pissed off. So the least that can happen, it's gonna ruin your day. your blood is boiling, and you're just feeling lousy the rest of the day. And it can actually be much worse. Road rage and major thing. Or, let's go back, you think about it, maybe he's in a rush. His kid is sick, he wants to go get his kid. Maybe he's an older man, did not see I was there. See where this takes you? Just that meaning that you gave that event gave you the feeling and the emotion which controls the decision that you make in your life. So meaning and emotion is the major thing that controls the quality of your life. So are you happy? Did you achieve everything you wanted in life? All of you guys here are achievers. Finished school, went to high school, went to college, finished your master, got a job, you got married, you had kids. Are you happy with all these achievements? Now, if you go back and think and get that feeling that you had with any of these things, how long did it last? Did it last months, days, hours, seconds? So is this happiness? Then what is it? And that's what I want to take you through. Pleasure versus happiness. If you look online, sometimes they define both as the same thing. They contemplate saying they are the same. And I'm here to tell you that they are not. So what are some of the differences? Pleasure is short-lived, while happiness is long-lived. Pleasure is visceral. Happiness is ethereal. Pleasure is by taking. Happiness is by giving. Pleasure can be achieved with substance, but you cannot achieve happiness with substance. Pleasure is alone, while happiness happens in a team, a social group. Pleasure leads to addiction. There is no such a thing in happiness. And lastly, being a neurologist, being biased, there is biochemical markers. Pleasure is by dopamine. Happiness is by serotonin. Recently, I wanted to add one thing. Pleasure is opening TikTok. Happiness is by deleting it. So, dopamine. Dopamine is an excitatory neurotransmitter. You get a hit, you get a rush. But if you have excess stimulation, neurons die. So as a defense mechanism, there is a down-regulation of receptors. So you get a hit, you get a rush. Next time you need a higher hit to get the same rush. So imagine you get a hit and a bigger hit, a bigger hit. You get to the point that you do not get anything. And that's called tolerance. Now, when the cells start dying because of that, that's called addiction. However, serotonin is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. It gives you the feeling of content, the peace. And you cannot overdose on serotonin. But one thing that downregulates serotonin, which is dopamine. So the more you get of pleasures, the less happy you become. And that's basically what people in power and social media, they do to you. They try to sell you happiness under the label of pleasure. And that's the core of the American economy. They try to sell you all these junks thinking that it makes you happy. And the more you attain of these, the less happy you become. People say knowledge is no. Knowledge is potential power. Execution is power. You have to have a massive action. Knowledge by itself does nothing. You have to execute after that. So you aim to the stars. You put a vivid dream in your mind. Aim all the way, land on the moon. Not aim to the gym and land in Shake Shack. So I'll share a story of mine. In a breezy evening in April, the year 2000 in Jordan, I wanted to become a surgeon. I worked hard to be a neurosurgeon or an orthopedic surgeon. And I was accepted as an orthopedic surgeon residency in Jordan. That evening, something happens in my mind. I went to my parents and I told them, I'm focusing on a bigger mission in my life. I want to go to the US. I want to chase my dreams there, find my soulmate, get my training there, and establish for a bigger mission in my life. I burnt all the ships because I did focus. I made a meaning of that thing and I executed. And I remember I finished my internship in July 1st. July 9th, I was in Dallas. August 1st, I was engaged to this woman. So where focus goes, energy flows. You focus on something, you get the meaning out of it. And as we said, the meaning will create that emotion, and that emotion will make you take that decision. Where focus goes, energy flows. Remember that always. So you have to take a moonshot that is so crazy in your mind, to the point that your brain starts thinking, is this vivid imagination or this is true? A moonshot where it turns should into a must. Should, it gets done when it's easy. A must, it gets done no matter what. And the difference between should and must is reasons. Reasons come first. Answers come second. It's all about the why. You have to find your big enough why. Why people do this or do that? When you're uncertain about something, there's no execution. Because you have that belief, maybe I can't do it. I've never done it before. All of us here, we know what to do. Most of us, we know how to do it. But very few of us know why we do what we do. And that takes me to the Golden Circle by Simon Singh. So the core is why. Find your why, then you can build how and what. The why is the core for your mission in life. Again, being biased as neurologist, so neocortex is the outer part of the brain, which present in mammals only. The highest percentage is in humans. It's almost 80% of your brain. It's the part that controls the data, the rational thinking. While limbic system is responsible for emotions, the feelings, feeling rage, anger, things like this, all in limbic system. Limbic system is where you get your gut decision. So a lot of times you take a decision, and because of your neocortex, you can justify. You can try to look for pros and cons. You can convince yourself what I did, why did this, that, or how I did it. But it all builds on the why. That's where you build it. Find your why, then you find your how and what. In 2002 in Dallas, when I started my residency, I went to the gym, bought membership for 3 years, paid for it. Guess what? I went 7 times. At that time, I was thinking maybe I'm young, I want to look good, I want to look fit. Obviously, that was not an enough why for me. Move forward when I get to 40s. So I started looking and I started seeing I might develop high blood pressure, diabetes. So I started getting concerned about having those problems. That was by my why, the drive. Because I don't want to develop these conditions. I don't want to have an early appointment with my colleagues in cardiology. This was my true why. So if you find your why, it changes everything.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
So JFK announced that we're going to put a man on the moon. NASA said he is crazy, we don't have resources. But they made it happen. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is a moonshot. Now, why do we want this? What do we want to get to in life by doing all the steps we talked about? We want to get to what? We want to get to success. Success is what we are chasing, regardless how you define it in your life. So true human potential. If I ask, what is a true human potential? Anybody? Take a guess. What's your potential as a human being?
What's he's capable of doing? Get to the moon.
But to the moon, some people say, unlimited. Is it truly unlimited? No. It's not. But when you see results and you tell yourself, does this really reflect a true human potential at that time? A lot of times you say, no, they can do better. Why? Maybe they did not believe that they can do that far. So when taking an action, you have to have a belief and certainty in it, that I can do that. It's not just trying. Sometimes when people say trying, it's just to give yourself an excuse that I've tried, so I can justify to myself that I can give up easily. And failure is basically when you stop trying, when you keep doing and changing your approach. It's all about chasing the success. But when you stop and quit, that is failure. Success cycle. A lot of us are in that stage here in different things in your life. Now, if you do a minor action on top of a minor potential, you come up with a minor result. Guess what this does to your belief and certainty? It gets down. So it's a spiral, right? Who had this happen in his life? Well, if you're not raising your hand, you're lying about other things. Now, let's shift. If you do a major action and there is a major potential, that leads to a pretty damn good results. And guess what this does to your certainty and belief? It's up, and it's an upward spiral. Now, who had this happen, both of them at the same time? I'll give you an example. So your career is booming, your health is going down. Your kids are not doing good, but you look at the stocks and you're making a lot of money. So we have all these aspects in our life the up and down. So when we said we want to establish certainty and belief, this is what great athletes do. Vision. You visualize the result so vivid in your brain that you cannot tell is it true or not. That's an attitude for greatness. When you have the certainty, this will help you take a massive action. Time for a physical exercise. Would you all stand up? Now shake your hands, put your feet together. Now, maybe just get some space between each other. Raise your right hand and with your index finger and turn around comfortably. Good. Now, come back and take your finger out of your neighbor's ear and you put your hands down. Now close your eyes. If I ask you, what's the color of my jacket? So immediately most of you just said that. Now, let's do an exercise about vision. What if I asked you how many shirts are red? Now, open your eyes and look around. So you start looking at red. Your brain start telling you even pink, you're gonna call it red. It visualized that to convince you that I'm successful, I can make it happen. Now, let's do this. Close your eyes again. Now imagine, don't do anything. Imagine that you raised your arm up and you turned around like we did earlier twice as much. Just imagine. Now imagine you did it 3 times as much. Now let's take it further. Imagine that you went 360 degrees. Now open your eyes and let's do the exercise again and turn all the way. Wow. You can come back. So who went twice as much? Why didn't you do this from the beginning? You know what? Because you have a limiting belief, this is all what I can do. You have that setting in your mind that this is as much as I can do. You can have a seat. So, vision. So I wanted to imprint that vision in the next generation. My son and his cousins. I want to put a vision in their mind, imprint that in their mind. So what I did, I took 7 of them to New York. I paid for their flight ticket, and their food, and their hotel. A lot of family members thought I'm crazy, but I had a vision. We went sightseeing. They went, looked at New York. They ate in best places. Remember, teenage boys, they eat like they're preparing for famine. So that's a picture of them with New York in the background. What I did after that, took them to Wall Street, and then I primed them over those 2 days before we took the next picture. I primed their brain. So I took a picture of them with the stock market behind them. And I told them, I want your name on that digital screen in the next 10 to 20 years. I snapped that picture and gave it to each one of them to look at it every day so they can visualize the results themselves and make it happen. So inshallah, we'll give you an update in the next 10 years about what they achieve. Those are the leaders in the future. They're of course older now. So as we said, no certainty leads to no execution. And the great athletes, as we discussed, they visualize results. They have to make it happen. So a quick quiz. When was this?
Soccer players will know. Maybe. When was it?
When was that? And you know, hold on. Final, when?
1996, 94.
94. Where? Walid. Hussam. USA. Where exactly? Which state? California. Who was the kicker? No. Anybody knows? Baggio. And who was the goalkeeper? That's Brazil. Taffarel. So this was the final game in '94, the World Cup in the US, where Brazil won, and it was because of this penalty kick. I remember that in '94. I was in Jordan. When Baggio went to take the kick, I said, he's gonna miss. I looked at him. I can see the uncertainty in him, in his attitude, in his body language. And you can look at sports. How many times have you watched American football and you look at that player and you say, he's gonna miss that shot? How can you tell? You can tell about his demeanor, about his body language. He's uncertain he's gonna make it. So you have to find a passion. A passion you wanna go to the end of the earth to make it happen. So crazy in your mind that you start questioning yourself. Well, if your dream is not crazy, bro, it's just a nap. So your dream should be big enough. To me, I'll share with you, other than being a neurologist, taking care of patients and all this, I love practical psychology, influencing people to change, get the best out of people, motivating people, public speaking. I want to leave an impact on humanity. This is my passion, which of course I discovered with time. Not necessarily in a young age that you'll understand everything, but with time you start developing and finding some skills that you're good at. Capitalize on it. But it has to be something good to humanity, something good to the ummah. Now, to sum up with what we got so far. So we discussed happiness, discussed success, and we need certainty and belief, visualizing results. But then we talk about progress. So progress. There are limitations to progress. The F word. We said this is adult version, right? So what are the F's that hold you back? The major one is fear, which leads to frustration and you worry about the future and the end result is failure. So fear, what you need to do is make it on your team to drive you to be better. Now, let's imagine your fear and you're pulling me there. Pull hard. So instead of just keep pulling, what I would do, I'll go with him and turn and take the fear under my wing to be something that I use to my benefit. rather than keep fighting your fear. Address your fear and confront it. Thank you. Give him a round of applause. So, never fear death or dying. I only feel never try. So, are you stuck? You're not stuck. You're not stuck, you're just afraid to change. And as we said, nothing changes if nothing changes. لا يغير الله ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. And if you're comfortable, you're doing it wrong. You have to be uncomfortable in your life. If you're comfortable, it's not right. Unless you're in business class, mashallah, God bless you. So, changing expectation into appreciation, a concept also. A few years ago, I got on an international flight. They announced they're gonna have internet. Most international flights, they don't. So everybody was excited. Great. So we took off. Guess what? 7 minutes. Stopped working. Everybody was pissed and angry. Instead of being appreciative that they can fly like a bird, they can watch a movie at 30,000 square foot. They can use the bathroom mid-air. Instead of appreciating all this, it became an expectation. Again, we go back to the same concept from the beginning. It's a mindset. And it actually happened earlier today. When things were not ready about the mic and all that, I couldn't help it. I got angry. But then said, you're preaching people about this. The first thing, out of all what I do, by the way, I am the first one. I'm teaching myself before I just preach others. So I said, you gotta just do what you're preaching others. So I changed my mindset. Maybe 25 years ago, I wouldn't be like this. So she did something.
Good job.
Now, this is the front of my old office. And this is 11:30. I'll let you watch. This was one of my patients. She had early onset dementia. And that's what happened. Alhamdulillah, it was 11:30. We're just winding down. Nobody was sitting on these chairs. It was a blessing from Allah. Now, I want you to look at that older guy. Let's rewind this. Just watch him. Watch how cool he is. Did not even flinch. Amazing. Nothing. Now, I'm not making this up. 2 weeks later, something else happened. But it wasn't here. It was next door. Was one of my patients. She was young, not dementia. The parking lot was full, so she wanted to park next door at the primary care doctor office. That's what happened. Within just 2 weeks. Now, going back to appreciation and changing expectation, that old lady, 2 weeks after the incident, she came with her daughter. And she thought we're gonna fire her as a patient. So my managing partner, my brother Yusuf, goes out to them and just simply tell them, we love our patients. It's no problem. It's cool. Nobody was hurt. You're fine. She started crying. The Darwa started crying. Staff started crying. We're all crying. ونعيط. But what do we need for execution and progress to reach our goal? Any idea? What do we need?
Motivation. Focus.
Determination. Everything.
We need help.
Work.
Effort.
You can pray.
It's great. Yes, the fulfillment.
Still, but to do all this, you need energy. Where does energy come from?
Food.
Food. Really? So in 4 days, a Thanksgiving, when you destroy the turkey and destroy everything on the table, the only energy you're gonna have is what? Energy to take a nap. They bring the apple pie after that, and you have energy again, and you jump on it and destroy it. So is it food? No, it's not. So, anything else?
Caffeine.
Go back to energy. Focus is needed, of course, but what drives your energy?
Purpose.
So I'm giving you to take some guesses. Okay. Anything that we all need, we all do every night. Sleep. But it's wrong. Why? How many of you sleep 8 to 9 hours and wake up exhausted? Right? True. But something happens, and within seconds you have energy, and you go out and you want to conquer the world, and you can stay up for 3 nights. What was that thing that made that going?
Purpose. Yeah, I was going to say purpose.
Okay. Now, we'll get to that. Where you have low energy, you're in a lousy state. How does that reflect on others? So, who was snapped at by somebody who was in a lousy state and it was unfair? Right? Have you snapped at somebody because you were in a lousy state and you were not right? All right. Now, challenge is a must. The easy way out does not give you the success. You go to the gym, you have to put hard work. It doesn't happen easy. Don't look for the easy way out. We all go through pain. Pain is inevitable on all human beings. But suffering with it is a choice we make. You decide and you choose if I want to keep suffering with this, or I'm going to fix it. I'm going to turn things in the right direction. Show the sources of energy. Stanford did a study on achievers like Tom Brady. So they measured their heart rate variability. They checked their saliva and blood. They found one major biochemical marker in all these achievers that goes up with high achieving, which is testosterone. Testosterone is the source of your energy. I'm not saying go out there and get testosterone supplements. That's not what I'm saying. But this is the biochemical change in your body that drives that? Testosterone with less cortisol. Half a billion years ago, a major disaster happened on Earth where major eruptions wiped out 3/4 of the species. But there was one that survived. It wasn't the strongest. It wasn't the biggest. It wasn't the largest. Yes?
Was it insects?
Insects even wiped out. All insects did not survive. It was sea sponges. But why? Because of adaptation. Sea sponges not only survived, it even thrived. The idea is you adapt to any struggle you face. Change your approach. Have a different direction at it. You have to adapt. You cannot be still. You cannot be exactly the same. You're refusing any change. But then which personality type struggles with adaptation?
I said high testosterone.
Now I'm asking personality trait.
Type A. Type A. Close-minded.
They're not adapting. They cannot adapt. They want everything.
Perfect.
The perfectionist, exactly. They suffer with this. The problem with perfectionists, they're major things. They focus on minor details. They forget the big picture. They want to avoid any challenging task that might lead to failure because they're perfectionists. I want to make sure I get it right. I don't want to take any chances. So they develop skills working on minor things. They do not develop better, newer skills. And when they get to a point that something doesn't happen that exactly like what they want, what happens? They start blaming themselves. What we call self-loathing. Trust me, I was a perfectionist. I'm still working on myself to be better. So, for perfectionists, we say, relax. Even iPhone, when they launch it, has bugs, right? Entrepreneurs, the masters in their field, their average school GPA is 2.9. Steven Spielberg, Richard Branson, Steve Jobs. And perfectionism can lead to stunted growth. Now the whole message is what? It's the discipline. And that's what I always tell my kids. When I say I want to see the straight A's, it's not the grade itself. It's the discipline that you put and work on it. And I always challenge them, if he does not get there, could you have done better? Right? So it's discipline. It's not necessarily the result. And remember, happiness is in the journey itself. People judge based on your best moments, your peaks, not your troughs. Shakespeare, he had genius plays people judge him by, but there are some forgettable plays nobody heard about. Steve Jobs, judged by iPhone and iMac. We don't know about all the other failed projects. Even actors judged by their best pieces in the box office, not by movies that they did not make it. Have you heard of wabi-sabi? Not wasabi. wabi-sabi. So wabi-sabi is a Japanese from the 16th century. It's basically art of honoring imperfection. And it's the beauty in imperfection. Because flaws are inevitable. There was a study done of a model selling a blender at a mall. So one video, she does the smoothie, selling the blender, put it in the cup. Has another video exactly the same. The only difference was she spilled the smoothie. They found out that they sold more of the blender when she spilled the smoothie. Typically, as human beings, look at yourself. When you see somebody you deal with and everything looks perfect, you cannot find anything, it makes you uncomfortable because we believe we're humans. Something is not right. Or they call it the other shoe effect, the missing shoe effect. When they judge divers, they did not judge them by perfectionism. It's by excellence. So life, ladies and gentlemen, is all about perspective. It's the perspective that you take, which is your decision based on emotions that you gave after the meaning. It's the perspective you look at. Simple example. They're both right. He sees the 9, he sees the 6. But each one from his perspective. Because perspective changes everything. Two twin boys were raised by an alcoholic father. One of them grew up, became an alcoholic. The other one was very successful, never touched alcohol. They went to the first one and asked him, "What happened?" He said, "I watched my father." They went to the other one and asked him, "What happened?" He said, "I watched my father." Same genetic, same household, same father, same circumstances, two different outcomes. Why? Perspective. It's your decision. You don't look for excuse why I couldn't do this or that. It's your decision and perspective to make it happen. Because your perspective could be your prison or could be the lead to greatness. It comes down to perspective. Henry Ford has a saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're absolutely right. It's what you believe about yourself. And from one of my role models, Tony Robbins, leaders anticipate, losers react. So when we say leaders anticipate, you plan and you execute, rather than when something happened, you react to it. And that's path to greatness. What I wanted to do today, I wanted to light a spark in your mind, a spark like this. You have to be patient. Don't be in a rush. Always I want results immediately. No, be patient. Things happen in the right time. Just hold your horses, because then it will happen. So if you do not start to be the star of the movie of your life, by default, you will end up being as a support actor in somebody else's life. Thank you. Well, any questions?
When's the next event? When's the next event?
So you're clapping for her.
Yes.
Well, inshallah, make it happen.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What are some things that happened to you in your life that led you to have inspirational talks like this?
A lot. This is going to turn into khutbah Jum'ah. Hussam, if I may. We talked about it many times. It's hopefully related to this. So, the story of Sayyidina al-Khidr. So she asked about what events or things happened in your life that made you change to do something inspiration and affecting people. But I'm going to answer this on a bigger scale. Since we have time, if you guys not feeling, are you guys bored? No. Okay. So I'll take you to the story of Qissat Sayyidina Musa and Al-Khidr. I think 2 years ago, I heard an explanation done a different perspective that really blew my mind how I looked at it. So bad things when it happens to you in life. And I want to take you through this. There are things that happen to you in life that are bad, and you discover the good thing out of it in your life. They were on the ship. He comes in and makes a hole. They start saying, we're gonna drown. This is not right. What happened to us? Then they discovered, because of that hole, that king did not take that ship from them. That's one thing. Now, I wanna stop there. On this, I want each one of you to reflect. Think about something bad happened to you in your life, and then you discovered there is a good outcome of it. I'll share some with you. In 1990, in August the 2nd, we were living in Kuwait. I woke up in the morning and I heard my parents saying, Iraq invaded Kuwait. At that time, I was going to start my 11th grade. I was straight A's. I had dreamed to go to medicine and all this. I felt all my dreams shattered. Everything is gone. Now, let me put that perspective. If I stayed in Kuwait and I got what I got after I moved, what I achieved with the high school, I would not really get into medical school. I have to go somewhere else, maybe if I get to medical school or not. So that disaster that happened led to a great outcome after. I realized it after. Because if it stayed the same, I would not have been where I'm at now. I'll give you another example. In 2010, I had an office manager. We discovered that she was stealing. She was writing narcotics to patients. Even DEA came to my office. Any one of you knows DEA, there is the highest authority, even higher than the president. They can just close your office. They're telling me you're writing or ordering these controlled medications. I thought that's not right. So we discovered it was that office manager. And I told Brother Hussam, my wife and kids, they were overseas. I prayed 2 rak'ah, qiyam layl. In the first rak'ah, I finished Surah Al-Baqarah. I've never done that in my life. It was one of the greatest fears I felt at that time. But fast forward, what this led to, that my brother who's a pharmacist had to step in because of what happened, and he started doing the management in my office. Eventually, alhamdulillah, the business tripled or quadrupled because of that bad incident. So my point is, think about something bad happened to you and see the outcome of it. So that's the first type. The second type, something bad happens to you, you will discover the hikmah of Allah on the day of judgment. So Sayyidina Musa al-Khadr, they're walking. They found the kid. He kills him. What the hell are you doing? A young kid. So imagine the feeling of the mom. All her life, crying, saying, my kid was young. Why Allah? Why is this happened to me? He was a kid. He did nothing. And she dies on that state. On the day of judgment, Allah will tell her why. Because her life will be miserable if this did not happen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala change it for something better. So reflect on yourself. Something happened to you that's bad, and you do not discover the wisdom out of it. On the day of judgment, you will. The third type. Something was supposed to happen to you, but because of qadar of Allah, it did not happen. Imagine the 2 young boys. They don't know anything. They're orphans. Those 2 men come from outside asking the village, we need some food. They refused. And out of nowhere, there was that wall is going to fall. And he comes and fixes it. And Sayyidina Musa asks him, why? We asked for food, and they did not. It didn't make sense. Now the 2 boys, they grew up. Do they know anything about that incident, that there was the wall is going to fall? They had no idea. And then there was the money that their father left them. So basically, sometimes things, Allah stops it from happening to you and you don't realize. For example, you try to catch the flight and your wife, she's not ready, and you get angry. Everybody relates to that, right? But do you know that maybe if you left at that time, at the intersection there's going to be a deadly accident and it's going to kill you. But Allah prevented that from happening, gave you some circumstances. You never knew. Day of judgment, you will be told about all this. If it didn't happen, that circumstances Allah put in your way and changed that, you could have been somewhere else. I did not say that. Don't put words in my mouth. Well, I'll tell you something about this. I heard it from a man I respect. He said, he kept fighting this. But he realized it's a losing battle. So he said, you know what, I'll get ready, sit in the car, I might read some Quran till she comes out. I'm still not at that point. I'm trying. So things happen and you see impact in life. I realized why. I felt I have to have a mission in my life. I need to leave an impact. Where I tell my kids, I don't want to be like an animal, a part of the herd, and leave nothing. Allah did not put me on this land just to be like an animal. You feed and you have next generation, you die without leaving impact on humanity. With all these things happen in my life, plus a lot of other things, a lot of struggle that I went through, it made me decide, yes, this inspired me. And I have a mission to change that. Yes? What picture? The herd? I don't have it here. It's not connected to my phone. Yes?
Okay, so the picture you showed of the twins, right? So you said one of them, like, or their dad was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
So I work in foster care. So, right, a lot of kids, like, they grow up, it's not their fault. Like, what happened to them, right? So how do you break that cycle, right? Because sometimes they grow up and one of the twins was an alcoholic, the other one was successful. And it's hard to, I guess, get rid of that trauma. So from a psychological point, how do you break that cycle and not fall into the habits that, you know, put you in the situation, like, right? You get what I'm saying?
I know it's very challenging, but let me tell you something. Statistics have shown the most successful people are orphans.
Yeah, that's true.
That's statistics.
But how do you encourage them to break the cycle? How do you encourage them to be better?
You have to have the mentor. You have to have a continuous impact, continuous exposure. It's not just talking to them and it fixes it.
Right.
You need to lead by example. They need to see, they need to be inspired to see something like this. But it's not a simple thing.
No, it's not.
It takes a lot of work. And I know you see this every day. It is a lot.
Yeah.
But look at all what happened there. Use it for your own benefit. To make you a better mom. What else?
We have college students and also some young getting their lives together or out of college, in college. What kind of advice do you have to formulate now? They follow seminars like this, do they? And I know you laid some grassroots for, you know, plan, what's success and what's pleasure, understand that. If you have like an advice that you would give?
I think it's always important to find a mentor. Find a mentor that can help you, hold you accountable. Find qudwat, role models, not one role model. Why? The only absolute role model, perfect in everything, is Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Everybody else, you give and take. I'll give you a little bit of something we suffer from as sometimes Muslim community or immigrants. Sometimes if somebody does something wrong, we judge and we wipe everything. This is wrong. So even scholars, if you feel you find something good, take it. Ignore the bad. Don't just keep looking at the bad. As he said, the referee. Don't be the referee. Take what's good, and he's good in this thing, role model in that. Look for another role model. So you have to have different role models, and you have to have a mentor that holds you accountable. You need to find somebody you trust, you think, lead by example. You don't follow somebody who tells you how to be a billionaire and he's poor. Doesn't make sense. So whoever is going to mentor you in something, you have to see that they did this. And you believe because they showed you results. It can get done. It's not impossible. So finding a mentor, and you have role models. And your circle. If you sit with 9 drug users, I have news for you. You're going to become a drug user. But if you sit with 9 very successful, smart people, whether you like it or not, they're going to drag you there. So you have to choose your friends. You have to choose your circle. That's very important, whom you acquaint yourself with. This happens from the young age. when you're just starting college and all this. Make sure if there are toxic people around you that they're adding negative to your life, cut it out. You cannot just be nice to people. If they have negative impact on you, they're not really benefiting you and they're hurting you, you cut it. You have to have the guts to do that. You don't have to keep thinking, oh, I don't know how they're gonna think, how they're gonna feel. That's not your problem. You have a mission in life, you wanna be something successful and beneficial to the ummah for the hereafter. Because that's the ultimate goal. What else? Questions? Yes, Mahmoud.
Now, when you can finally chase down your big why, how do you keep that at the forefront of your goals and not lose sight of everything that goes on in life?
Matthew McConaughey, if you heard his speech at the Oscar, I always like to watch it again and again. So his role model, he says, 10 years from now, I look at myself. This is what I want to be. He says, fast forward, I get 10 years. He said, nope, 10 years ahead. So you have to more. Don't feel that I got to this point, I achieved it. I did it. No, because that we get back to what I said, you got comfortable. At any time you feel comfortable, there is a problem. If you sit with a group of people and you're the smartest, that's a problem. Get the hell out. That's extremely important. So always look ahead. Always look ahead. There is no ultimate. There is nothing that you're going to achieve that's going to be 100%. We all die trying. We haven't got to what we want 100%. But as I said, happiness is in the journey. It's not a goal. Don't set it as a goal. It's the whole process to get you there. Yes?
Do you also have any specific advice for those interested in medicine, becoming medical students soon, and how they can achieve high degree of competency, and how they can further impart dignity, justice, respect on other people in their practice?
This is something that comes with time. Now, don't look at some role models ahead of you that they think they're not attainable or they are. No, they were like you. But don't think also that they got there out of nowhere. You have to understand there is a struggle to get there. It's building those skills, not being perfectionist. You're going to have struggles. You're going to have hard time. That's actually what's going to make you successful. You cannot really get somewhere in life without going through struggle. Don't believe there are people who have perfect life. You know that people that have perfect life and they're billionaires and everything is there, what happens? They kill themselves. Because obviously they're thinking about happiness is wrong. Robin Williams. So he achieved the art of fulfillment or being happy about it. He mastered everything. But to be happy about it, he failed miserably. And he ended up killing himself. He had everything. So materialistic is not. So my point is, you build it. It's going to build. It's going to build. It's going to build. This is going to be an everlasting process. But don't get fooled by you see somebody 10 years from you that you think, oh, they're perfect. Or they're good showing you that. You don't know what's going on. But that, it's your circle. You're going to be in their shoes and you're going to mentor 10 years behind you. You know, I get students from Jordan doing elective course with me in their final year. And of course, they're appreciative. Oh, thank you for what you do and all this. I tell them, listen, 10 years fast forward from now, you're going to be in my shoes doing the same thing. It's a cycle, we're going to go through it. Prepare yourself. What I want from you, prepare yourself to be in my shoes 10 years and do this to somebody else. You have to have that mission. What else? Yes, sir.
What is the role of gratitude, you think, in fulfillment?
Oh, that's huge. That's huge. Trying to think how to.
Or maybe how can the lack of gratitude take someone off the path that they want?
The problem when you have lack of gratitude, you start fooling yourself. You start developing narcissism. You think you're it. Can we pull that graph? Dunning-Kruger effect. Have you guys heard about Dunning-Kruger? You heard about that. So what is Dunning-Kruger effect?
There's someone where they think, for someone where they think they know, it's like the more you know about the topic, the less you will have the confidence, like sort of in their own knowledge on that topic. But you see someone who does not know a lot about something, they'll believe they know like everything there is to know about it.
Okay. So if you look at the y-axis, that's knowledge or confidence.
So the independent variable is
It's confidence. So we're talking about confidence and we're talking about knowledge. So people start, they attain some knowledge, their confidence goes up. They think they know it all. After a while, you start learning, oh shoot, I don't think I know much. So here at the beginning, you get there. All of us, we go through this. The problem is, a lot of people are stuck on that peak of stupidity. They think they know it all. You know, sometimes even in neurology, after I started practicing, the more I see patients read about diseases, I discover, I don't think I know much. And actually that made me feel good. I am on the right path. So you keep going down and your competence and confidence get better. But here you reach that valley of despair and you start going up. The problem, as I said, which happens back home, and a lot of our people back home, they're stuck on that peak. My mission is, I want to push them down. That's what I want to do. I cannot take them this way. Sometimes there are people, you have to push them this way. So once you realize that, you're okay. That builds, you're on the right path. That's one of the major things I preach. All students, they have to know what Dunning-Kruger effect is. What else? Since we have time, let's talk about anything.
So then a thing like gratitude, and if you're on the peak, does that mean that this cycle, it goes up and down? Because sometimes you're very confident in your knowledge and then it goes back down and up?
You can apply this to any aspect. Let's say, related to your degree, or related to how much I know about deen, how much I know about relationship and marriage, which is that a huge subject for another day. So in every one of this, we're gonna go through it. But don't be stuck there. A lot of people, they think they know relationships and they know marriage. And no, they don't. Yes?
In your opinion, what is the difference between excellence and perfection?
Oh, perfectionist, the problem is you cannot accept any other result. If you see any other result that didn't happen exactly the same way, you give up. This is wrong, I can't. Or you see something challenging and you think, there's a chance it's not gonna work. I'm not gonna do it. But excellence, you chase that. As we said, the flaws of perfectionism, they don't wanna just deal with that because there is a chance they're gonna fall. And that's a failure, I don't wanna do it. So you choose to miss a lot of chances in your life with that perfectionism. Yes?
How do you change that mindset from being professional?
The wabi-sabi. An adaptation. So you have to accept. First, you have to realize perfectionism is not good for me. I grew up thinking that perfectionism, that's what's going to make everything perfect. As they said earlier, personality type A. I struggle with that. But I have to change it and accept this is not how it happens. Accept it. Here it didn't work, fine. I'm going to get up. Thomas Edison, how many tries has he done to reach that light bulb? 1,000 times. But he said it's not 1,000 times I failed. He said, I found 1,000 way not to lead to that invention. But if it's a perfectionist, you try first time, didn't happen, no, that doesn't work, I'm out. I'm done. So you have to do that with visualizing results. What I said about great athletes, you look at it, yes, I can do this. He imagined himself score, he is celebrating. That's what boosts us. All of us will watch sports. You can tell, I'm more biased towards soccer, of course. Or at Sami Hamdi said the other day when they told them, he was saying football and all that, and then he said soccer, he said, astaghfirullah. It's not. So you can tell the first half, they're just lousy. Same players. 15 minutes later, second half, you completely different. What? It's a mindset. But you know that they have psychologists, they work on them. As I said, again, mentors. You have to find the right person to do that. They can change that. They change their state. You have to put that in your mind, change the state. You know, some hype music, something like this. If the Quran does it for you, do it. But a lot of times we think we shy about, oh, that's not right. No, you're not if you're not doing something haram. Why not? Look for what really gets you, get your gut going to make something happen. Visualize. That picture I told you about the young teenagers. I told them, look at it every damn day. That's how it makes it happen. Yes, Walid.
You, at the start of the presentation, you said 25 years ago, you met your my mom. You said that she fixed a lot of your problems. What was the biggest problem she fixed? Khalid, that's a great one. I
خرب بيتنا الولد.
When did you recognize that it was a big problem? Oh God.
What did I recognize?
When did you recognize the biggest problem? When did you recognize? I'll show it's on top of it.
No, it's a lot of problems. It's a lot of problems.
He said the biggest.
The biggest?
Yes, he's asking like what's the biggest
Huh?
He thinks he knows what's the biggest one.
What's the biggest one?
Huh?
I think anger.
Patience.
And how did you fix it?
I don't know if I became patient. Loss of patience. Aggressiveness. What else?
They said pick your biggest. I don't know. And how did I change it? Is that what he said? Yes. How did you fix it? And when did he recognize? Sabr, dua.
No, even before we get to relationship, no, as a personality trait, what you discover in yourself. I could have been significantly arrogant. Do not accept the other opinion. That's a big thing I changed about myself. And she helped with that. What else? Being a behavioral psychologist. I'm very comfortable and tell me.
As you always say, I studied psychology to be able to to put up with you.
I make that joke. Both of them actually studied psychology, so they can handle me. That's true. What else, Malak, as behavioral psychology? Maybe Hussam, you knew me 25 years ago.
About what you had said about gratitude. Gratitude also, again, that's promoted a lot in Islam. You have to show gratitude to everything that you have. And you've already mentioned you turn what looks bad into good feelings, and that even promotes your happiness inside and in your mind, and increases your what you were talking about of the hormone things. So being grateful and really promotes your mood, and from there on it just becomes a going upwards instead of a spiral.
True. It gives you satisfaction. You know, one thing I try to just I'm still not good with that, is showing gratitude, or say thank you, or say excuse me, or say something. At least we learn good things from the American culture that our culture does not have, is to be better with that. When something happens, just say thank you. I appreciate, exactly. A lot of times you keep going and you say nothing. You know, I'll share a funny story. When I came to the US, I think in '98 to do an elective course, my first week. So me and my friend were going into a gas station. So a guy from inside, he opens the door. Smart me, I kept going. He opened the door, I kept going, said nothing. So he looked at me, excuse you. My friend, he was so smart. He said, excuse my friend, he's deaf. Oh, I'm sorry. And then he talked to me, what the hell are you doing? I didn't know that. Then I developed that thing, so that something happened with me. I didn't know, just, okay, excuse me, thank you, all these things. These traits we did not learn. A lot of things back home. I'm not going to get into this culture. I'm going to talk till tomorrow. A lot of things we were raised on that are wrong. That's not from deen. Aib is way stronger than haram. Do you guys disagree? That's a problem we have. And that's what we need to change. That's one of my missions. What else? Salam wa rahmatullah, Sheikh. Wa iyaakum.
I've learned a lot in the last half an hour.
Jazakumullah Khair.
One question I have is, I think a lot of people in the professional world, they deal with this question when they go for interviews, that where do you see yourself 5, 10 years from now? And obviously the people who are interviewing, you don't want to say, I want to see myself in your position, because they're not going to take it in the right way. So that's one question, how to navigate that question, and have another follow-up question.
So I think it's good to share that you really have a noble thing in your life, a mission in your life. Always, I think, share that I want to get the bigger, better version of myself, to be successful and to benefit people around me. Showing gratitude, giving back to the community. That's very important during interviews. They want to see that you really have good thing in you, that you're giving back. But I think that's a very loaded question. There is a lot into it. How you look at it and how you answer that question. Of course, don't say, I want to take your spot. Oh, that's insulting. Some people might not take it right. So what else?
The other question is, obviously everybody wants to move up towards their goal, but then nowadays it feels that the mentality is you have to have a sharp mentality, that you can step on others to gain what you want. How do you gain that without having sincerity and not having that kind of mentality?
Subhanallah, that's the beauty of Islam. When you see that there is really a meaning to your life, finding the meaning to your life and what's your ultimate goal. If you're looking few steps in this life, that leads you to that attitude. But if you really believe it's the afterlife that I'm chasing, So I want to do the right thing because that's my goal. It's not a materialistic thing in life that I'm chasing here. Because a lot of times when people just chase these things in life, they start creating excuses for why I do this. Because the goal that justifies everything. The make you feel approach. So always you have to just remind yourself and your peers, your circle. I cannot stress out how much your circle matters. Regardless of what you do, your environment is stronger. You choose your environment. It's your perspective, it's your decision. What else? Anything else?
Well, you can give advice for the young kids that they know everything.
Well, they've seen the Dunning-Kruger. That's always when you know that you think you argue, you know, I want you to remind yourself, look at this. Always. That's because that's the easy way out. Again, don't look for the easy way out. It's not going to get you to greatness. And that's what we tell the kids. No, it has to be the struggle. And I was going to throw a word after I talked about my wife. I was going to throw a question, what is love? That's a topic for another day. That's very complicated, that most people do not understand what is it. Because adaptation? You're alluding to it, yes. Now, since we're talking about that, yes?
Love is self. You love somebody, it's just being, not selfish. People selfish. Adaptation.
So when the man and woman, they get engaged, they met 3-4 weeks, a month, 2 months, they got engaged. Do they have love?
No.
Why?
Because it's initially we think that, what do we need from this relationship? Everybody has a need, and this is even matching, like it's a contract. So I have it's just like selling and buying, it's a trading. So they actually trade things that they both need from each other.
So what is the feeling that they have?
The feeling is like
what do we call it?
The pleasure, fulfillment. They need to fulfill what they're missing.
But they tell you, I just love from first sight. How would you respond to that?
It's just, giving. I mean, just in order to take anything I want from you, I have to give you what you want. Like everything has a price.
True, it's a mutual thing, yes.
It's a mutual and mutual need.
But why I'm challenging you with this for the young kids when they say from first month, second month, we are in love.
No, that is
why? That's what I want to get. What is it then?
Infatuation.
It's like
just an admiration. That's why that's not love. Love comes after friction. When there is a problem, when you overcome problems, build usually after marriage. There is no love before marriage. They fooled you. That's what media told you. And for some of us, we know Egyptian movies and series, that's what they're installing in your mind. They're fooling you. No, that's not love. Why are we seeing in this culture, they want to die. She'll die for him. Give them 5 years, she hates his guts. It wasn't love. Love is something that builds. It doesn't have even a certain amount. It's with going through problems, you build that relationship. That's one thing that we need to change and explain to the young generation. That's what you look for. So love comes after marriage, not what the Western cultures tell you before. It's all admiration. It's all attraction. It's not love. Other questions? Other interesting topics?
How do you explain to kids, مش like صح وغلط, but like that they're different than the other people or the other like kids around them, especially on the media?
Not to his age.
Not his age.
I know you were hiding things from him yesterday.
No, not his age.
You know,
like school age.
you have to talk.
What was the question?
What's the question?
So her question, how do you explain to kids among their peers that those people, what they're doing is wrong? How to show them this is right or this is wrong?
And to add to that, especially in this culture,
In this culture.
we're a minority as well.
Right,
And how we're disciplined to what we are. How
Right.
to explain that to them?
okay. Sometimes we judge things by outcome, right? And that's what I tell them even at a young age. If you look at every prophet, how did they start? By themselves. Because everybody around them is wrong. And that's what I tell them. When you're seeing everybody around you, and I prime them when they come and tell me, well, all my friends, they have PS5. And Malak knows that. So when I tell them, when you come tell me everybody has this, it is wrong. So I attack them before they come attack me. I put that in their mind.
Okay, definitely for sure not that way.
Well, put on it attack, but basically just plan it and put it in their mind. So because the history tells us that the Prophet came with a message which is definitely the opposite of everybody around them. So when you're different from the others, most likely you're on the right path. So that's why when they feel frustrated, and I tell them, you're on the right path. That prophets do that. And they came up with a message, and of course it took a lot of struggle. That's history. Lessons from history.
I think it's like the most main problem is to fit and like with everybody else to feel like you're not the outcast. And it's just like, I want to be like, why they can do this, I can't do that. That's the main major problem for all the kids. That do you think identity, how to make them be confident about themselves?
So she's asking about their identity not fitting with people around them. Of course, all of us as minority Muslims in the West world, we have identity crisis, and kids face that thing. But I'll allude to this in a different way. I'll give example what I told Nada before. I remember in the 80s when I used to have hair. So the fashion at that time, it just, you do the back, right? And I refuse, I don't want to be like everybody else. To me, it's an insult if I'm just like everybody else. I don't want to follow the trend. I'm not part of the herd. So what I tell them is the herd. That's the picture he's talking about. What is that picture of mine? The herd. So I want to be different from the herd. And that's success. And that's what every prophet did. Came with something against everybody around them.
But how do you explain it though at a kid level? You know, because even as a teen level, like kids, yeah, you can teach them about Islam and everything, but like, how do you explain it in kid terms?
A lot of times, just also, Hussam, go ahead.
Let me tell you about this experience. And
Okay.
the question is that for us Muslims now, since it's a Muslim thing and Muslim identity, and you really want to show and tell your kids that you're different than these people. I don't think that's the answer. After all this experience talking to a lot of people, a lot of kids, we're not different. We have to come to reality with ourselves and be truthful to ourselves. Number one, are we American or not?
Yes.
That has to be answered first. If you answer yes, then you're not different than the rest. You do different things, but we're not different. Then we need to act as Muslims and the kids that we are Americans. We do the same thing as Americans. What's the difference if you say, I want to teach them that they're different than this and that?
The difference is between us and the other people is the faith part only. There are many families that want to take their kids. There are many families that play with their kids. There are many families that feed their kids. There'll be a few things, and then find out it's not my talk. So there are red lines that don't get crossed with parents. Regardless, you don't budge on those. And those are very few. 5, 6 items. He mentioned the haram and the aib. The culture versus the haram. The haram is very few to stop your kids from doing. And then there's a lot of gray areas that your kids can do where they're not feeling that they are left out and they're not like the other kids. That's why a lot of Muslim kids, especially people that are not connected to the masjid, their kids really develop mental health issues, or what they call today, in today's world, mental health issues. There is no reality grip between identity as an American and identity as a Muslim. And those things are not separate. If you don't separate them, you will be able to raise your kids with full confidence that they are American Muslim. And that's lectures to come.
Very well said, yes. Can't say it better. Yes.
I think specifically with your kids, I think one of the biggest things is, first of all, like the open communication. When they're growing up in their early stages, that's when you build the foundation of deen. And then having open communication with them. So when your kid comes home and he says, I have a crush on this girl, you don't get mad. You actually have to talk to them.